You can't beat the system. It's going to catch up with you eventually.
For sure.
How do you communicate that to people? Because if I don't know any better, I'm just going to say, yeah, let's get the cheapest flight, to Florida or whatever.
I'd hang up on you.
You wouldn't even explain why.
But I don't even know. I'm ignorant of the fact, right?
I know. I'm only teasing.
Don't be mad at me.
No. I think that this is an industry, again, coming back to the community aspect of it. People, you shouldn't come into it without being prepared to be a part of the industry.
Welcome to Own the Jet by SPARROW Group, where we share perspectives from some of the leading voices in private jet ownership and business aviation. I'm your host, Derik Savage, along with my co-host, Jason Spoor, president of SPARROW Group. Our guest today is Jacquie Dalton, founder and CEO of SPARROW Executive Jets. Jacquie has built SPARROW into one of private aviation's most respected charter brokerages, recognized for its commitment to safety and personalized service. Join us as we dive deep into the mechanics, mindset, and moments that define jet ownership. And together, we'll learn what it takes to own the jet. Today's guest, we have Jacquie Dalton from SPARROW Executive Jets. Is that correct?
Correct.
And Jacquie is going to tell us all about how she works within the aviation industry to help people find the right flight for their business and personal use case, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Awesome. Jacquie, thank you for joining us on the Jet.
I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. Thanks, guys. Love everything you're doing. Good stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate
Awesome.
it.
So tell us a little bit about SPARROW.
SPARROW Executive Jets basically is a brokerage. I started it in 2020, right as COVID hit, based on extensive time and operations. I was in sales and marketing, and then was on the management, aircraft management side of the industry, and ownership that went out and allowed their aircraft to be chartered. Then I went to the broker side of the business and launched SPARROW in 2020 with the intention to bring operational insight and integrity to the broker side of the business,
which is needed in 2026.
I hear that so much, that like brokerage is kind of like unregulated Wild West. You never know who you can trust, and there are a few people where like you that we've met, and we've also met some other people that are like really into the idea, and you, Jason, really into the idea of bringing a standard to brokerage, where currently it's kind of like you don't really know what you're going to get, right?
You don't. As long as somebody can talk the talk and sort of walk the walk, they can be believable.
Yeah.
So you just have to really vet who you're talking to.
So how do you approach that?
I'm at a point now where I think we have to stop being so hard on the broker community, because the idea of bad brokers has cast a shadow on good brokers. And there's nothing in the industry as valuable as a good, solid, informed, smart, honest broker.
Yes.
And so the same thing, talk about, whether or not the regulations and standards are required in the industry. And then you just look at, well, we have so many rules and regulations already. How many more do we need? They're out there. We just need to follow them.
Exactly.
But I think that the tide's starting to change a little bit. I think it was the Wild West where people were just willing to buy into anything they were seeing on social media, and really unqualified, inexperienced, empty leg sellers and things like that. But I think
real quick.
Yes.
Empty leg sellers. To our audience that doesn't know what empty leg sellers.
I don't know what empty leg sellers are.
Right. So that's my job, is to catch things and make sure we make it clear.
No, it's okay. No, it makes sense. Unscheduled flying, which is jet charter, which is our strength, right? The fact that we can, on a dime, go anywhere we want to go, find a flight plan, be able to fly. So actually a strength of what jet charter is capable of doing.
Right.
But those are called positioning legs. And so let's say I have a trip that's going to go from Florida to New York. I find a plane that's in Tennessee. I've got to get it from Tennessee to Florida, from Florida to New York, get back to New York, and then back to Tennessee. Those positioning legs started to get lifted off and presented in the open marketplace. It used to be something.
So you're kind of like, now I got to find someone that wants to go from Tennessee to Florida?
Everybody wants like that. Oh, I'm going to sell that empty leg. I'm going to sell that. It's called an empty leg. And I always say they're not empty. Souls are always on board. Crew matters.
It takes somebody to fly it.
Yep, absolutely. And so there was this really big push to sell empty legs off, which it became quite an issue, actually. It really did start to cause some issues in the industry, because not everybody knows how to do it properly. And, put the primary trip first, or protect the primary consumer who's really truly paying
for that.
That's
right.
But I think that people are starting to figure out that that's not the way to go. So
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
I
good.
agree.
A little bit of a
I agree.
correction that's occurring.
So it's more like an opportunity, kind of like, hey, I can get this flight, but I got to do this empty leg thing, and it's not my flight really. Is that kind of the vibe with that
Well,
whole thing?
they're
or-
doubling up, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
somebody's already paying for that. And by getting you,
I see.
and we'll give you a discount,
Sure.
and they're just making a little bit more money.
I see.
without
Right?
without any transparency, I could.
Yeah,
this is
you're right,
Such a tricky
right.
subject.
We're
because
going way off onto
I'm
this.
a
I can
very
say
light
it,
seller.
but yes.
There's
So
a way to do it right. There
Okay.
is value
Yeah.
to being able to sell.
Yeah.
Fleet recovery, crew training. Within the network, within the industry, we do want to be able to use those legs. It's
Okay.
just. They shouldn't be on social media outlets that have really nothing to do with aviation,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
just fishing or it's
It's an app.
it got a little out of
it's an
control.
app.
Okay.
And
All right.
Empty Legs is an app.
Ah.
Yeah, there is an app.
Link in the
It
description
drives
below.
a lot of that.
We'll sell you an empty leg.
No, we won't.
Sign
We
up
won't
for
sell.
your- I got
We
you.
will
I
not.
got you.
We-
The old adage, if it's too good to be true,
Okay.
Yes.
you know.
All right. Don't
So.
don't click that link. So sorry about the tangent there, but
No.
okay, but that's an example of one of the things where with brokers it's like you don't know what you know what I mean. Like as a consumer, I don't know who to trust. I don't know who to go to, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you guys are trying to bring, raise the standard for that, right?
Yeah. It's, there's a common saying in our industry that it's as big as it is, it's a very small community. And that's something that I really focus on with SPARROW, which is the community of aviation. And that community is the client community, which is critical. Without aircraft owners primarily and flyers, there is no industry.
That's right.
And then there's within the industry itself, the community. And aviation really it's a lifestyle. It's not just a profession. It's a passion. You have to really be invested in. You can't just kind of dip your toe in the water. You really have to be committed to it.
Yeah.
And so I think the community aspect is really key. And so within that community, most of us know who's who and what's what. And so I find a strength for me as a small business owner and a broker, focusing really specifically on quality over quantity, that people know me in the industry and they know the kind of clientele that I represent and they know how I run a flight and vice versa. So I think the community aspect of our industry is starting to attract, right? People are looking out for the right people and starting to identify
Get it.
who they do or don't want to do business with anymore, which is good.
Nice. Now, you haven't always worked in the private aviation industry, right? So somebody told me that you were a really good horse jockey.
Well,
Is that
thank you
right?
for the really good part. I
Have
knew
to
how to
be.
win, that's for sure.
That's- yeah.
27% of the money, actually.
Wow.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I was a thoroughbred jockey. That is true.
How did
I
that
rode the
start?
East Coast.
How did that start?
That sounds like an
you gotta-
awesome
You
thing
gotta
to
back that up to where
I'm 6'1"
ride
and I
horses.
weigh too much, so there's no way I could ever do that. Like good
Yeah.
luck getting me on a horse, but like to be a jockey, that's a next level thing.
Well, people always say when they find out that I'm a jockey that, oh, well, you're short. That makes sense. As if that's,
Oh, my God.
if that's the qualifying. Yes, I used to be tall. I just
Right. I
wanted
just
to be
got
a jockey,
shorter.
so I got shorter. But I'm 4'9".
Okay.
I'm tiny. I'm a only daughter, middle child, 2 brothers.
Okay.
Freakishly athletic, competitive, driven.
Yeah.
So I kept pace with them a good bit. My father was a stock car racer. My brother was a
Really?
cross racer.
Wow.
Yeah. So racing, speed
Yeah.
is in my blood for
Yeah.
sure. And I had a lot to compete against. So I went from cheerleader to jumping in the saddle at the racetrack and
I mean,
riding
but how did
races.
that happen? I mean, how did that
God,
happen?
you had to read the book.
Oh, there's a book. Let's
There
talk
is a book
about
in
it.
the world. They
Oh,
have a
okay.
side project.
Okay,
doing
all right.
Link in the description below for the book.
Well, yeah, we'll
Not regret.
all right, we'll circle back to that one
Yeah.
later. But I mean, yeah, I'm a cheerleader, and my dad has race cars.
Yeah.
And
It was more
did
of
you
an
have a
opportunity
horse?
thing,
Was
you
there
know,
somebody on a horse?
I was a high school dropout, believe it or not.
Okay, all right.
A hard childhood, a little bit of hard knocks,
Yeah,
which
no
a lot of
worries.
people have. And
It's all good.
Showed up on the backside of the racetrack, became a jockey, which there's, as you could imagine, I know it is crazy now. I look back on it and I'm like, how in the world did that happen?
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But I did. I rode and won my first race I ever rode. I was contracted to the leading trainer in the state. I won 3 of my first 9. I was pretty. It was in my blood, and
Yeah.
it's like in aviation. You got to have some luck. You got to have
Yeah.
some speed. It's got to
Yeah.
be something that really jives for you, and it did.
Right.
I was very fortunate. But then I went back to school and actually
Okay.
graduated top of my class, Northwestern University.
Nice,
So
Chicago.
I always was non-traditional path to education, but that was always in me. So I feel like racing got me to get educated and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
At what point was it like, okay, now I want to get into private aviation?
Yeah,
Where did that come into play?
Well,
because that's another transition that's just like,
Yeah.
'cause, you know,
you've been on the journey, Jackie.
I'm living it.
That's-
But I don't know.
hey, let's
God's
do that.
plan.
What's
Right?
next?
I know. Right?
She's gonna be an
I know.
astronaut. It's gonna be
Dear,
crazy.
please.
Yeah.
I know. I should probably pick an easier profession
yes.
somewhere down the road. I don't know. But yeah, I have to say, I think racing absolutely has made me equipped for
Sure.
aviation. It took me a while. I've been in it now almost 20 years, and it took me a while to really feel like I fit into aviation as much as I loved it and I get it, and I've done well at it. I always had tremendous respect and recognized I was not an aviator. You know, this aviation is an industry that is just intense and smart and creative, but it is a niche thing.
Thank you.
Like, aviators are aviators, and you can't just become one. You know,
Yeah.
it really has to be in you.
Well, it's
So
a society.
It took me a while to get to a point where I consider myself, from my side of the fence, an aviator. But I've always felt the same way as a jockey. Not everybody's getting, could be a lot of people are going to the races or training horses
Yeah.
or walking horses or feeding horses, but there's only one jockey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel that way in aviation when it comes to pilots and even maintenance technicians and stuff like that. So
So do you
but-
fly too?
No.
Not yet? You will, probably.
No,
No, you don't wanna
I'm
do
going
it?
to leave the flying to the pros. I'm good at, but I am
no.
very good at the operational oversight and setting up trips to make sure that crews and the aircraft itself. I'm very operations focused,
Okay.
more than I am sales focused,
Yeah.
for sure.
So horses, and again, what got you into that charter world? Well, you started out brokering and doing some
Well,
other
I
stuff.
started in sales and marketing, actually.
Okay.
So, and I could have gone into sales and marketing in any industry, and
Sure.
I definitely stroke a lot that I wound up in aviation and took to it like a fish out of water,
Yeah.
which I think is because of the similarities in the industry. You've got horse racing, you have the horse owner, and you have the backside of the industry and equestrians and
Yeah.
aviation.
Yes.
You'd be surprised how similar. And even now I look at flights, it's like riding a race,
Yeah.
get in the
Yeah.
gate, get to the
Yeah.
wire, what's the prep beforehand. It's intense, it's adrenaline pumping. There's a safety component to it. I had given a keynote speech for the Flight Safety Foundation
Oh,
on the
okay.
intro. David, who introduced me, said she really knows about safety because she was once on the racetrack racing horses, and
That's a big deal.
I never made that connection that was why I was so safety focused. But yeah, a lot about the industry. But I always say to people, if you think vet bills are bad, you should see jet bills.
Yeah.
From
But
vet
very
bills to
similar.
jet bills.
Very similar.
That's the
Yeah.
title of the book. It's got to
Right.
be.
Yeah, when somebody looking to buy an airplane. So how much does it cost to put fuel in it? You just walk out. Never mind. You're not
Well,
there
yeah,
yet. You're not
that's,
there yet.
that's on the charter side.
Yeah.
Too. Once people start poking around on the pricing, you're just
Yeah.
kind of like, you're not ready.
You're not ready.
So let me understand how you work in Sparrow then. So you are focused mainly on chartering jets, not so much selling jets. Is that
Correct,
Okay.
yeah.
So talk to me about that. What does Sparrow do, and what's the niche for Sparrow?
So at Sparrow, I represent the end user client that's flying charter,
Okay.
that wants to have access to aircraft owners' assets that are in the space that are available to charter that
Yeah.
are on a 135 certificate, which means
Okay.
they can be chartered.
Right.
And I am very selective about who I'm flying with, what aircraft we're actually going to, and really focusing on not just the jet. I was saying to you earlier that it used to be the network, we call it the 135 network, the network of
Sure.
jets. And it's
Okay.
a very fragmented landscape,
It is.
which is another thing people criticize. It's a strength.
Okay.
That's what allows oversight, and not every operator should be operating the same kind of equipment. And so as a consumer, we've had this mass market expansion, and it's like one size fits all, and that's just not true.
Okay.
And it's even come to a point where it's not even just the management company that
Yeah.
you're going to that's managing aircraft. Let's say you're a management company and you have 10 aircraft, and I have a client that needs a specific trip, and I'm going out to all the different operators and management company to
Okay.
identify not just the aircraft, but the aircraft to be able to fly a certain way that is safe
Yeah.
and sound.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's
Speaking of sound, we got a
very
jet
dynamic.
firing up engines behind here. So if you're listening, you're probably
Yeah.
hearing some of that. But no, go ahead, please.
So I represent clients, and I focus primarily, the charter world is, they kind of have it now where it's anybody can fly private. I don't
Yeah.
really support that. That's not necessarily true. I think that we've been way too open access recently. So I focus very specifically on good charter clients that
Yeah.
are good for the industry,
Okay.
who recognize that they're getting access to somebody's asset that really should be
Yeah.
flying private
Yeah.
or can justify flying private.
Right. So with that group of people, just to take that group of people a little deeper, how many of those percentage-wise, I guess, are you seeing get so far into charter that they're converting into ownership, partial ownership, full ownership?
Like, what's the cutoff,
Yeah.
right? When does it make sense?
Well, I think that, the rule of thumb in the industry, and always has been, whether or not this is still true, or we're just sticking with it, is once you get to 150 hours,
Yeah.
175 hours. It's interesting because we've had a heavy infiltration of fractional come into
Yeah.
play,
Yep.
which pulled from whole aircraft ownership. I think that's going to start to come back. There was a lot of marketing and advertising towards that, but whole aircraft ownership is where it's at, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're the
Yeah.
big dog of the
That's
fight.
right. That's
if
right.
you own the aircraft, and the ability to actually have a very healthy whole aircraft ownership network in our country is very important.
Yes.
And nothing beats a good aircraft owner under
Yep.
good management.
Yep.
And
Yep.
without that, we're not really going to have a healthy, safe, and thriving charter community. So
Agree.
it all goes together for sure.
So if I'm looking at charter flights, and we've had guests from all over on Own the Jet, and I'm thinking immediately about my options where it's like, well, I could get a jet card, or I could go fractional ownership, or I could do one of these other things. What's the difference with working with someone like you at SPARROW? And the options that you can afford me and
Yeah.
the kind of things. that
There's
you
lots
do.
of different approaches to it right now. And coming
Okay.
back again, I developed my own proprietary system called FlySAFE System.
There we go.
Safe Aviation.
Good segue.
Say FlySAFE System, Safe Aviation Financial Exchange. And a lot of it is in response to jet card programs, fractionals, and things like that.
Okay.
Which is that there is a direct link between the financial aspect of aviation and
Yeah.
the flight safety side of it that I think has gotten overlooked. Part of that
Tell me
has
about-
been
how's
part
it
of that
overlooked? What am I
part of
what am
that's
I
like
missing?
trying to drive down the cost at a time when costs are going higher,
Right.
and
And
so
keeping it safe.
keeping it safe, and the price point is definitely a very maybe overlooked but integral part for safety.
Okay.
So if you're flying a trip and you're more focused on the price point of the trip,
Yeah.
and I'm going to market representing you, I'm trying to get you something inexpensive, and I'm worried about that versus I believe the industry very clearly prices the way a flight has to fly for safety. And we should trust the people who are representing their fleets and their aircraft doing what's right for their owner
Okay.
versus the trend of trying to push into locked in hourly rates or to drive rates down or to find some sort of shortcut. You can't beat the system. It's going to
Yeah.
catch up with you
Yeah,
eventually.
for sure.
How do you communicate that to people? Because if I don't know any better, I'm just going to say, yeah, let's get the cheapest flight, to Florida or whatever.
I'd hang
right?
up on you. No,
You wouldn't even explain why.
But I don't even know. I'm ignorant of the fact, right?
I know. I'm only
Yeah.
teasing.
Don't be mad at me. I never.
No. I think that this is an industry, again, coming back to the community aspect of it. People, you shouldn't come into it without being prepared to be a part of the industry. It should never
You're
be
saying as a
taken
consumer,
lightly.
I
As a
should-
consumer,
okay.
I think that, and I think as an industry,
Yeah.
we have fallen short of making sure that the message gets out there that hey, this isn't just something you do for fun or you do this
Right.
lightly. This is a transportation.
Right.
Go to transportation.
Right.
Safety is critical.
Yep.
If you're going to get in aviation, you're going to get into aviation. You're not going to try and just use it for what it can give to you, which is a cheap flight to Florida. right?
Yeah,
Right.
right.
And so my program I would look at, you would come to me and I would do, not sell you on a locked in, consistent hourly rate program, I would say, well, what are your needs? How are you flying? Which we never do, right? Like, it seems it's such common sense.
Yeah.
How are you flying? Why
Right.
are you
Right.
flying? What is your need? How many people are you flying with? And I'd be able to put an annual estimate of cost on what your spend would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you open up an account with me, and that account stays separate. You know, it's your money. It's only used for when you fly.
Okay.
But it allows me to go to market with representing you as somebody who is a verified true flyer with funds on account, ready to move.
I see.
There's
So
no
if-
shenanigans.
Yes.
So when you go to somebody with a jet, you're like, I'm not just kicking tires here. I've got,
Oh, no,
I've got someone
We've got
with some
money in the
money.
bank.
We got money in the bank. Everything's ready to go. We just want the jet. We just want the flight. Whatever, right? I mean, is that the idea?
Yeah. No, I will say, you know, Sparrow's in its 6th year now, so
Okay.
coming out of startup, but still a small business, and
Yeah.
it's never been done before the way that I've been doing it. Built my own proprietary technology.
I like it.
And I have been. I think I have definitely reached a point where the industry does recognize if she brings you a trip, it's a real trip.
Yeah.
She represents good clients. She knows how
Nice.
to run a trip. It is quality. It is, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's having some nice returns. So I would hope to
Yeah.
say, and this comes back to when we were talking originally.
Yeah.
You know, you find a broker, you don't want just a buddy off the street or someone who's like, hey, I can hook you up, dude.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
you want somebody who can sit down and understand what your need is
Yeah.
Sure.
and be able to educate you
Yeah.
on this industry, because it is a complex industry,
Yep.
and it's not something that you should get into lightly.
How do I know if I'm a good client for you? Like, what boxes do I need to check? What is it that I need to? I mean, in
I mean,
terms
just
of,
the fact that you asked that question, it's a great question,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, I love that approach to it, you know? I think a lot of times with social media and messaging and advertising and programs that have been, we've been inundated with it. There's been way too much information, marketing and advertising that's inaccurate.
Yeah.
Bad information.
Well, sure. Absolutely.
And so you'll get people who approach you as if they are knowledgeable
Yeah. Okay.
about it.
Yeah.
And they think that they're talking
Yeah.
about something they know, and they're not.
Right.
They've been sold a bag of goods that is inaccurate. So coming to it, really wanting to learn it and understand, you know, I mean, look at what we're dealing with. This
Yeah.
is not, you know, it's the Uber, you know, these aren't
That's
car
right.
drivers. They're flying airplanes,
That's
you know,
exactly
they're
right.
the skill set, the
Yeah,
technicality, the depth, it's important. So I think
Yeah.
the approach of what do I need to know when I start flying private?
yeah.
Sure. And that's it just coattails into what we are as Aspen Group, right? So, you know, my background is all being an aviation pilot, director, you know, facilitator of these flight departments, whether Fortune 10, Fortune 50, Fortune 500. And so in our space as a broker and the team that we have, you know, they have access and they can talk to me about these airplanes. And
Yeah, yeah.
Whether it's a Global, which I've flown, or a Gulfstream, or a Falcon, you know, we can
Yeah.
articulate that to the consumer, or the end user, client, whatever, and say, hey, no, that Falcon 2000, that's probably not going to be your best bet. But going back to what you said, somebody else that's just looking for the sale, that's a great airplane. You need two.
Yeah.
Don't just, you know, why buy one when you can buy two?
There is a lot of that
We
out
fight
there,
that,
for sure.
right?
Yeah, I think a good broker is always going to point out to a client what the bumps in the road might be. You know,
Okay.
somebody's trying to sell you too swiftly, too quickly,
Yep.
and sends you, you know, the whole rose garden. You should probably think twice about it.
Correct.
You know, because that's the other thing within the industry. We ultimately have to service what somebody has sold.
That's right.
And so it can get messy,
Yeah,
you know? And so
yeah.
you buy that, somebody buys that plane, it's with a management company, and now, you know,
Yeah.
what are these maintenance
Yeah,
bills, you know?
yeah.
And you're sitting there trying to logistically and
Yeah.
safely manage this aircraft, and you're in a compromised situation
Yeah.
from the gate.
Meanwhile, dude bro that sold you two jets, he's long gone
He's
with
gone.
his.
He's on the beach in Cabo.
he got his commission.
He's just
out.
enjoying life.
Okay.
And then somebody has to clean that up.
Okay.
And then there's cost. And now we
Right.
got to go back to the buyer. I hate to tell you this, but you know, it's going to cost $600,000 to fix.
Yeah, yeah, it's not a good,
Not a,
you know,
it's not. It doesn't help
it
us.
doesn't make anybody happy.
So if I do want to get that conversation started with you, right? If I do want to say, hey, you know, I think I'm ready to start flying private. I'd like to charter some flights first, see how it goes, and I want to deal with somebody that's reputable, that's going to keep safety in mind, et cetera. What's my next best step, or my best next step?
Write a check.
Write a check. Oh,
Make
I
a
love
deposit.
it. I
We
love
don't
it.
even call
Well,
me.
not even
You
a
just
check.
write
Send
a
wire.
check.
We
You
like
have the check
we like
ready
money to
before you
move
make the
as fast
call.
as the airplanes.
We don't need a hold on that. We need a wire.
Yeah,
You need to have it ready for me.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So
I
how
love
can we
it.
reach out to you?
Ops at sparrowjets.com. Website,
Okay.
sparrowjets.com, but ops at
Okay.
sparrowjets.com. We monitor it 24/7 and always available. And
Awesome.
thank you so much.
And we'll
for
include
having
that
me.
right in the.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Link in the description, right next to the book, and how he can get that
Right.
There you
that
go.
open
Right.
leg or whatever.
I want 5% of that now. at least.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, Jacquie Dalton, thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining us on Own the Jet
Thank you.
and joining us here in beautiful Van Nuys, California at Clay
Absolutely.
Lacey.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you so
we
much.
look forward
So good.
to working with
Good
you
stuff.
on getting some charter flights.
Absolutely. Let's
Right?
go.
Awesome. Well, join us next time where we'll learn more about what it takes to own the jet. Thank you for watching Own the Jet. If you want to see more Own the Jet, make sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube and leave a comment telling us what aspect of jet ownership you'd like to know more about. Own the Jet is brought to you by Aspen Aero Group, your trusted partner in private and corporate jet ownership. Learn more at aspenaerogroup.com. This has been a Savage Media production.